Hello, my beautiful collective. My name is Calum. I am an empath, a psychic, and an oracle of sorts, and welcome to Full Mental Alchemy. I'm going to do a tarot reading for you today. I don't know what this reading's going to be about. I'm kind of just grabbing cards. It's going to be a little quick one. I'm only on my lunch break right now, but I got out and I was like, I need to do a reading. I don't know what the message is going to be about. I think I already said that, but anywho, let's get into it. I hope you're having a wonderful moment in time. Thank you for being here, sharing your energy with me. We're going to start with the Angels and Auras Oracle, because I just got this deck and I'm excited to use it. So let's see what comes out. What does the collective need to know at this time, Spirit? Whoa! Whole bunch of cards. Energy healing. Came out in the reverse, so antiquated, neglect, lethargic, or malaise. You might need to pour a little energy into healing and taking care of your mental body and emotional body. We have focus on your health, wellness, active, radiant nourishment. It might be important to, like I said, take care of yourself a little bit. Maybe step up those routines you might be neglecting. There's angels watching over you, supported, protected, loved, and encouraged. Things might feel, we have confidence, and it came out in reverse. Doubt, scattered, passive, and tense. It's like somebody walking across a tightrope. So you might have like a lot on your plate, and you're feeling a little under pressure. We have you're ready. Stagnation, insecure, unsupported, unplanned. Interesting. That's because it came out in reverse. So it feels like you kind of just need to tend to yourself a little bit. Like you're kind of, maybe you haven't been focusing on your health the most recently, haven't been really like prioritizing your own well-being. And it's time to get back into that and really prioritize the way you feel, and not even just the way you feel, but how you're moving. Because if there's some energies that feel a little stuck, if you're feeling a little worse for wear, a little unsupported, getting active might help with that, might help you break some of that stagnation. If you're kind of just always sitting in negative energies, or always feeling under the weather or down for the count, and just really weighed down by emotions, it's very helpful to move, because then you're allowing that energy to flow through you and you're not just kind of stewing in it, giving it an outlet, a place to go. Oh, it's hot in here. I rolled the windows up and then immediately had to roll them back down. Let's pull some tarot and see what the vibe is here. Yeah, I feel like there's not much to say, but let's see. What else does the collective need to know? Why is, like, mindfulness of exercise important? 7 of Cups. It feels like getting yourself moving is going to give you some new perspective and allow you to kind of open your mind a little bit, give you new ideas, and almost it feels like by getting moving and like getting it all out, it's going to make the weight that you're carrying a little lighter, make it a little easier to keep moving forward. The World. Yeah. I think that it feels like with the World, you might be going through like a really intense time, a really intense step on your journey. And I think that exercise is going to help you kind of like move that forward and allow the allow it all to keep moving. Allow the journey to keep progressing. The Four of Wands. And the Emperor. I'm going to read the Four of Wands. Gain experience in reaching pleasant destinations, whether near or far. The hard work involved should also be useful to you. With a little effort, you will achieve great things. And that line especially, I feel like, is emphasizing this point. With a little effort, you will achieve great things. Like, I think that it's almost like you're in this space of, like, transition, and you're really focused on, like, that finish line goal when it comes to it, and that's kind of what this Seven of Cups is talking about. It feels like you might be very it's like there's so many ways that this could go that you're almost getting stuck in that and creating more of a burden for yourself with the Ten of Wands. And these feel like the hurdles that you need to kind of get through to reach that world energy, that grand ending. And I feel like the Emperor here is really emphasizing this point of needing to, like, take action and do something about it. And it's not necessarily doing something in the sense of trying to move time along faster, but more so, like, not just sitting there thinking about it, and instead, like, doing things with yourself in the meantime, I guess. And I feel like by giving yourself something to focus on when it comes to your own health and your own, like, physicality, it's gonna not necessarily distract you, but give you something else to think about than the places that you want to go, the things that you're waiting on, the manifestations that are on their way. Continuing to be productive and not just, like, dwelling and keeping yourself stagnant by, I don't know, it's like, don't waste the energy that you have right now. If your mind is, like, really racing and going all over the place, doing a million things, doing jumping jacks while you're just, like, laying there, maybe do something with that energy. Put an end to that mental chaos and actually turn it into something beautiful, something productive and powerful. And that's where the happiness comes, because, I mean, doing something good for yourself, creating routines that make you feel productive are going to in turn just bring you to a space of, like, self-fulfillment and pride. I almost feel like there's more to that Ten of Cups, though. I'm not really sure what. You have returned home, fulfilled, contented, and full of love for those you have found at home and in the workplace. The palace that supports your soul is within you, brimming with excellent relationships with others. Know how to keep Know how to keep the commitment that allowed you to build the inner palace that we call the heart. And that commitment is to yourself. I think that whatever relationships and friendships that lie ahead of you are going to benefit from you continuing to maintain a really strong relationship with yourself and treat yourself like a priority. I almost feel like that's the entire message. Like, this is a really short, quick reading, but I'm gonna pull a couple more cards. We'll do another spread, and just see if there's anything else that wants to come out. Spirit relationships is on the bottom of the deck. Intuition, connection, signs, and inspiration. This is a pretty card. Very cool. And I'm actually, you know what? I don't even know if I'm going to pull any more cards. Let's just read that one. I haven't read, like, most any of these cards from this deck. Spirit relationships. When this card appears to you right side up, all forms of spirit communication are present at this time. That may include connections to the angels, mediumship, channeling messages from spirit guides, or simply a powerful connection to your inner divine self. You're being encouraged to pay close attention to signs from the other side. You may also be called to study coursework on developing your intuition and divine guidance. There is most likely an excitement to deepen your connection to the spirit world, and it's an opportunity or an opportune time to explore that. We also have Blessing in Disguise under that card. It was in the reverse. Angst, unaware, significance, and expectation. And then we have Archangel Chamuel, which is the color light green. It's the first card in the deck. It was in reverse, so anxiety, burdened, restless, and despair. I'm going to read that card, actually. Archangel Chamuel means the eyes of God, leading many to think of him as the archangel who can help you find anything. That might mean your soulmate, or it might mean your car keys. However, we think of Chamuel as having a much deeper purpose in our lives. He is the archangel of personal and global peace. In this capacity, he helps to smooth away our fears, worries, and anxieties so that we can connect with the joy of life. When we find peace, there is space for happiness to come through. In that way, the eyes of God can help us to see our way to happiness. The color light green, sometimes described as electric green, is the color of enthusiasm. I'm going to show you guys the card while I'm reading this. And change. At its finest, light green can be seen around children giggling because they are fully present and in pure joy. Light green has such an infectious energy that it's often described as optimistic, creating a zest for life. When light green is seen in the aura, this person is healthy and thriving. The shadow message says, Chamuel is much like a counselor or an angelic therapist. Since happiness is difficult to connect with when we are not at peace, Chamuel may be holding out his hand to you to say, tell me your problems, child, I will help you. And the affirmation that just came through is, I'm worthy of good things. Chamuel may be holding out his hand to you to say, tell me your problems, child, I will help you. He has the ability to comfort your anxiety and undo any tunnel vision that has you focused on the emergencies of the moment. If you allow it, Chamuel can be the angelic equivalent of a loving parent who takes their hand and places it under your chin and then says, look up. The message for the shadow sign of light green represents being overextended to the point of anxiety and restlessness. Now is the time to observe your energy management and pull back. Give yourself permission to take things off your schedule and recharge. Beautiful. Very beautiful. All right. I'm going to do one more spread of tarot to help close this out. And then we'll be on our way. I've only got a couple more minutes, I think. Whoa. Ten of Swords almost wanted to come out. We have the Knight of Swords. Ten of Cups again. And then we have the King of Wands and the Knight of Wands. I will say the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Wands came out in reverse. And then the Page of Cups. So there's a line about the Knight of Swords that is really speaking to me. It says, your only dangers are being presumptuous and not realizing when it's time to stop. Ride towards the future with enthusiasm and abundant energy. Enterprises are to your advantage and of those by your side, whether in peace or in war. Your only dangers are being presumptuous and not realizing when it's time to stop. And I feel like, especially with the message from Archangel Chamuel, there is a need to dial it back a little bit. Maybe take it a little easy. You might be spreading yourself a little thin. The King of Wands says you have to make important decisions about your life or the life of others. Obviously, this is the result of a life path consisting of decisions on where and above all, on why to go to one place instead of another. Being accustomed to traveling will make everything easier and safer. A mighty rod of command is the sign of your assigned authority, and even better, of your authority due to virtuous conduct. It can be displayed with just pride, or imposed as an obligation on those you wish to have power over. Will you choose to consolidate your position, or to attack those of others? And low-key, I'm like getting really... I just got like really tired pulling this spread. And I'm both taking that as the sign to stop this reading soon, but also I feel like that's indicative of the energy that you're in, where it feels like you might be pouring yourself into places that are just kind of burning yourself out and are leaving you feeling that sense of overextension. And it might be important to take a step back and pour a little more into yourself and do some things that are actually benefiting you and not just for the sake of helping others. Three of Wands. Yeah, actually, I'm like... I just got so fucking tired. Be mindful of where you're putting your energy, and what the result of pouring your energy into those places would be, because it feels like the things we were talking about in the beginning, pouring into yourself, I felt so invigorated and excited about it. And then when we get to this topic of overextending yourself and pouring your energy into other places, I just was like drained, and I want to stop the reading, stop moving forward. It feels like if you start to be a little more conscious of where you're putting your energy, it might be indicative of where your energy is well spent. Because it feels like where you might be overextending yourself, where you might be pouring like all of your willpower into, is not pouring back into you in a healthy or productive way. And it might be a good idea to take a break if you can, or at the very least stop doing so much without any sort of reciprocation of that energy that you're giving out. I guess the biggest message here is maybe tap into your spiritual guidance, speak to your guides, ask them for advice, and prioritize yourself. Make yourself happy for once. Yeah, I hope this was able to provide you some confirmation or clarity on what you already intuitively know. This was a pretty short one. Thanks for sticking around with me for this little moment in time. My name is Calum, and this has been Full Mental Alchemy. If you want to reach out to me for any questions or concerns, or if you want to book a personal reading even, I'm kind of open to doing it right now. You can do so on Instagram at Full Mental Alchemy with an underscore before and after. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.